looking at the socket controls, you will also notice some attributes that are specific to our characters. I'm going to talk about squash, stretch, skew, and squint first, and then I will circle back to the scale effects brow. So first off, with squash and stretch, it behaves like you would expect. You can see that we are squashing and stretching the socket. This has really helped to add some authenticity to blinks or anything that involves that whole socket to kind of tighten or stretch in an emotional experience. So if he's tightening his face, or he's excited and opening his face, or scared, anything that requires the eye socket to grow or shrink in size, this is really awesome to have the ability to do so. Then just below you'll see skew, and this allows us to just ever so slightly shift the angle of the eye. And we spent a lot of time to develop a way that it does not affect the iris and the pupil below. So no matter what you're doing here with all of these squashes and stretches, you'll notice it doesn't actually change the eye shape itself, which is really powerful. It just shapes the socket around the eye. And then next you have squint, which is very similar to the squash in the sense that it tightens and shrinks, but it is slightly different in how it pulls parts of the face, and you'll notice as you play around with it there is some subtle differences. Next, you'll see the scale effects brow, and as you probably noticed while using these, the brow moves along with it. So we can also scale, and you'll see that the brow, this technically should be called effects brow, but it is what it is, and it stands for all of these. Basically, any attribute below rotation, it depends on if we are going to affect that brow or not. So if I go ahead and turn this off, I'll now use the squash and stretch function. I'll use the skew, and I will use that squint. And you'll notice that the brow does not get affected whatsoever. So by turning this from 0 to 1, it just dictates whether or not the brow is going to follow along with these attributes. So that's everything for the socket control, and now let's talk about the lids.